Hello, freak bitches.
And I just said, hey, how can I help? How can I get involved? Because this, means a lot to me. I'm a native Californian, and I grew up going to Yosemite, going hunting, going fishing, using the public lands. And so it was really important to me. My dad was a state parks commissioner. Most people don't know that. So
when was this? What point in his life?
This was gotta be when
Before he was the mayor?
No,
of Carmel?
No, after.
Really?
Yeah, this was after.
So fairly recently then.
Yeah, probably in the last, I would say, 15 years.
Wow.
I mean, I know he did it for a while and then got out. But he was big in the do you remember the toll road going through the San Clemente?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, so they were proposing this was when Arnold Schwarzenegger was in office, and they were proposing a toll road to go through San Clemente, which goes through Trestles, which is a popular surf break, and he was, everyone, got behind it. Surfrider Foundation, because they didn't want it because it was going to destroy the wave and ultimately destroy the national park there, and so he was big on that kind of stuff, and so I've always been, sort of following in his footsteps, saying, "Hey, we gotta get in front of this problem."
Dude, your dad's Clint Eastwood. That's
That is
so
true.
crazy.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. What is it like having Clint Eastwood as a dad? Like, what's your dad do? My dad is Clint Eastwood, bitch. People just be like, oh, shit. They just walk away, confused. Like, what happened to me? I just got hit with a rock. I mean, and you look like him, man. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm looking at you, I see your dad, like, from the old Outlaw Josie Wales days.
Yeah. It's what's crazy is looking at photos of him when he was 12 and I was 12. You cannot tell the difference. You put them both in black and white, you can't tell the difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a trip.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up with him as a dad? When did you realize, like, holy shit?
I think I realized, I'm 31, so I probably realized when I was about 8. I watched Unforgiven.
Oh.
Yeah.
He let you watch that when you were 8? That's my favorite Clint Eastwood movie ever.
Yeah.
Well, there's High Plains Drifters right up there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. It's hard to lock them down.
Sure.
But The Unforgiven's a dark movie, man.
Yeah, it's dark.
William Money. Killer of women and children. Ooh, that's a dark movie, man.
We all got it coming.
Yeah.
That's what he says in that one. I love that.
It was like probably one of the most realistic killers too. Like the way he handled stuff and the way everybody else was like falling apart.
Yeah.
Like, you never saw that in those movies.
Well, it was about regret. It was about a life filled of regret and filled with, things that you did wrong that you wish you could have, done better. And, it was sort of one last ride to, to do something better for his kids. So I think that was sort of interesting. It was sort of a final culmination of all his westerns.
It really was, and almost like he updated them all too.
Yeah.
Because like in the old movies, like you'd have cowards and you'd have heroes and stuff like that, but in The Unforgiven, he took it to a totally different level, like psychologically. You know, like even the way he, like the switch goes off when he starts drinking and then he starts just fucking murking everybody. Like the way it was handled, it seemed so realistic.
Yeah.
With the way everybody would fall apart and gunfights and the way
I got to watch that again now. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, this sounds awesome.
It's fucking great. It's a fucking great movie. I remember seeing it. I remember the movie. I went to see it in the movie theater, and when the credits rolled at the end, I just went like this. Whoa.
Yeah, powerful one.
Woo! Yeah, it's an intense movie, man. Fucking intense. So when you're 8, you figured it out? Like, that movie?
Right around then, yeah. I remember watching it. I'm not sure if I watched it with him or shortly after he made it. And just thinking, that is the coolest thing, and I want to do that. I want to be in movies. I want to tell stories like that.
Wow.
So how many, and you have brothers and sisters, and so how did all that work?
Yeah, I've got a few sisters. My dad was a busy guy.
How many kids in the family?
How
many wives?
Yeah, let's just go with that. He's only had 2 wives, but he's had a few girlfriends, a few different babies, mamas. Yeah.
So did you live with him?
I did.
Yeah.
I would bounce back and forth. I lived with my mom. I lived with my mom in California until I was about 7 or 8, and then I lived. Then she moved. She packed up. This was kind of around the time when they split.
Was your mom an actress too?
No. She was just a normal person. Yeah, flight attendant. She had 2 kids with my dad, and we she packed up, I think, when they sort of split, and she moved to Hawaii. She had lived there when she was a lot younger, and so she had always loved Hawaii. And so I had gone to Hawaii to live probably from about 8 to about 16.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I ultimately moved back with my dad for the last couple years of high school. And so yeah, it was an interesting upbringing, right? I mean, one hand I was with my dad for some time, and one hand I was in Hawaii, living there. And I don't know if you know anything about Hawaii as a white boy growing up. You're the minority.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was a lot of fist fights.
Did you show up with a Howley T-shirt on? Howley's Rule.
Pretty much. I mean, that's a lot of people don't realize that it's pretty. Hawaii's very from like a warrior society still, and that's a great thing, kind of, because it's very primal, and it's also sort of it's one of those things where there's not a lot of tolerance for someone that you don't know or part of your family, and. So for me it was tough. It was.
Did they accept you eventually?
Sports really bridged that gap. Football. I played football, and that really it was tough because the first year they were like, no, they were like, get the fuck out of here.
That had to suck.
Yeah, I was a kid then. I was probably I don't know. I can't remember 10 or so, playing pee-wee football, right?
Right.
And then as I would prove myself that I was down for hard work and down to throw hits, that that sort of bridged the gap, and then ultimately they were part of my team. And then so we would go to other schools and play other schools, and then I was still the Howley boy to everybody else, but they had my back now. So that was cool.
That had to be a bizarre time, man, to be a 10-year-old and all of a sudden be in that environment.
Sure. That was it was different. It was I didn't know any better because I'm
right.
Going, okay, well, this is what I got to deal with now. These are the cards I got dealt, so either got to man up.
Yeah, I have a bunch of buddies who live in Hawaii, and they say that if you're respectful and you're not
Sure.
a douchebag, like
Yep.
after a while you just fit right in and everybody's cool with it.
Yeah, I mean it's I grew up also as a surfer. Growing up surfing, and so there's definitely a pecking order and a respect there that you have to learn, or you're going to learn the hard way. And I think that was a good thing, ultimately, because it kind of humbles you, and makes you know your place, which is good.
Okay, wait. So I got to go back to the fanboy stuff. So I just want to ask. So you started off acting with like smaller movies, right?
Sure.
But now
Sure.
you've been, and tell me if I know you were in Fury.
Yeah.
I didn't remember until that started to know who you
Sure.
were.
What's
that
Fury?
Fury was with Brad Pitt, right?
Which one was that?
World War II, David Ayer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then
Well-
now it feels like you're in the big movies.
Well, look, I started 14, 15, almost 15 years ago now, doing it. It's hysterical when people I first sort of got a couple hit movies happen. Overnight success.
Yeah, I know. That's how it always works.
What the fuck are you talking about? I've been at it for 10 years, at that point.
Yeah.
But I started doing tiny one-liners.
Right.
Any chance I got just to get on set, play any role, do any lines, whatever, just learn, soak it up. And I was doing that for years. I mean, I was doing that for 7-8 years. While I was bartending, while I was valet parking cars, anything to pay the bills.
Right.
But how important is that you actually worked your way through it, even though you're Clint Eastwood's son?
Right. That's what I was interested in. Is that
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it didn't feel like he helped you, and I don't know, maybe he did, but
No. Anyone who knows my dad would just laugh at they would say, oh yeah, I mean, my dad's very old school, and he's very, very tough on his sons. I have an older brother, and it just doesn't happen like that in our family. There's no handouts. You want something, you got to go get it. And I can't thank him enough for that, because it never gave me any, backup. It didn't make me go, well, I can just sort of sit around, or it created drive.
Yeah.
It created hard work and drive, and those are all the things that take to make somebody successful.
Yeah, like if you were 22 and he made you a star of his big movie. That
Yeah,
would have probably
first off,
ruined
that would
you.
have looked it would have looked really bad on him.
Yeah, it would look
You
weird.
know? So and you could, yeah, I mean he could do that I guess when in his movie, but I think the common thing is, well, you had had it easy because somebody else. He can't just pick up a phone and call some big director and tell him who he should cast.
And if he did, it would be a mess.
Yeah, it would be, I mean, and the first director would probably tell him, thank you, Clint, but I keep not doing that. This is my movie, and I don't even know who your son is.
When he went on TV and did that like thing where he had a seat next to him and he
The
talked
empty
to
chair.
Obama
Yeah.
and talked to the empty chair. Did you call him up and Dad go, "What the fuck, Dad? What are you doing?"
No, I stay out of politics. I don't give two shits about politics.
That wasn't even politics. That was just like a play. He had like a puppet show with no puppet. It's like,
Yeah, I did like the intent though.
Yeah.
Because well, whatever.
yeah,
I was good with it.
I get it.
But hey,
Restraint of tongue and pen.
hey, so didn't you try out, or I don't even know how to, but didn't you
Audition.
Audition. There you go. This
Broncos.
isn't my wheelhouse, but for American Sniper,
I did.
and that was his movie, right?
That was his
so
movie.
how'd that go? What happened?
Yeah, I auditioned, and I remember actually I knew Bradley Cooper, and I said, hey, I'd love to play your brother. I read the script. And I was already doing my own thing at this point. I was working for a long time, but I'd go in periodically and audition for his films.
Yeah.
Because they're Clint Eastwood films.
Right.
If I can get an opportunity to audition, great. And then, when I said that, hey, I'd love to play your brother in it, or one of those roles, and Bradley kind of looked at me like, I don't, yeah, maybe, okay, cool. Kind of brushed me off, whatever. And I was friends with him, and then so I sort of said, hey, can I get an audition to go audition for this through my dad's company? And so I went and put myself on tape. It's pretty simple when you go audition for him. He's not there. No one's there or anything. You just go put yourself on tape with a casting director.
Okay.
And then you either hear something back or you don't.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the end of it. And a lot of times you never do. I mean that's how it goes for actors.
Yeah. So that's what happened with that. You put it on tape and then didn't hear back.
Yeah. No.
You didn't say what Dad was
No,
up.
it didn't work like that in my family.
Really?
He's too old school. I would never even dare to bring up something like that.
Oh,
That's
really?
interesting.
Okay.
Respect.
Yeah, that's
That's probably why you're so normal. Like,
Me?
Yeah, because look, those people that are in those sheltered families where
it's not good.
it's not good. It's not good for you.